support engineer, network administrator, NOC profile would be there, TAC profile would be there. There are different sort of network role related profiles that you all can get into. And once you are done with these roles, like you gain some experience at this particular role, after few months, or let's say after passing on some years with this particular expertise, you can even gain advanced promotions. You can step into much more higher roles. Like we have some security engineers also along with us in this particular batch. So there's an entire step-by-step journey. You can create your own roadmap. Even I'll be helping you guys. I have helped a lot many professionals to do so. So that would be a great journey here. If I talk about CCNA, so let's quickly start by looking on to the syllabus. So, and everyone, one more thing, I won't let you all to be on mute. Okay. I want everyone, whosoever don't have any background noise at their place, please be on unmute. And whenever like I ask something, voluntarily, please speak up. Let's have a proper interactive session, because I have a bad habit of like asking multiple questions throughout the day. Okay. So I hope everyone doesn't mind me asking the questions. Okay. I hope that's good for everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So we will be talking about CCNA here. If I talk about CCNA, CCNA basically, okay, one more quick question. How many of you will be going for certification also after this core training? The global certification. Is there any plan for anyone to go for global certification too?
Yes.
Jay will be going for it. Other than Jay?
Yes.
Okay, so we do have
Not
people who
yet
are going for
decided.
certifications also, right? And others who are not aware of what certification am I talking about, because you have joined a certification course, then why is Akash asking for a certification? So I'll very soon explain you what exactly am I talking about. Basically, you have joined a certification training program, and after the certification training program, you'll be gaining the information and gaining the knowledge about CCNA. CCNA also have a separate global certification exam, on basis of which you'll be gaining some specific certificates. And on the basis of those particular certificate, which is a global certificate, you are renowned as a CCNA or CCNP certified professional, just like I do at my present day, right? So that is something that we'll be discussing later on. But first of all, let's quickly jump onto the syllabus and see what all things do we have to study within this particular entire course. So everyone, CCNA is an entire course that I project to finish if I talk about weekend, because it will be a weekend 2 hours batch. So within 2 hours of every weekend, I'm projecting it to be finished within, let's say, 2 months. I can say it could be 2 months or more than 2 months, let's say 2.5 months. That will be the duration for CCNA. And then you can proceed ahead with the advanced courses that you have joined for. So within CCNA, we'll be covering up routing and switching. Everyone knows what routing and switching means, right? Those who don't know, don't worry about it. We'll be very soon learning about it. Switching is basically the learning that we do for the LAN networks, and routing is an advancement where when we step out of our LAN networks, that is where the routing works. So we will start this course from networking fundamentals, where we will understand the basics of networking, like what all different components are there in networking, how do those components work. And very soon in the networking fundamental, the only core topic that you need to remember about would be the OSI model. I hope some of you have heard about OSI model. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
So we will be discussing corely about OSI model in the networking fundamentals. Although there are multiple things, but we will be focusing on OSI model initially, because that sums up the entire explanation of the first module. Other than networking fundamentals, we do have one module which is called as network access. So network access in my language is the switching part, where you will be learning about switching. After network access, the next part is routing and switching protocols, which is basically in your official syllabus, it is called as IP connectivity. So in the IP connectivity, that is basically the routing part, where you will learn about different routing protocols, what is a router, how does a router creates a routing table. All those things will be taught in that particular module. Parallelly, we do have wireless also in this particular domain, like after the year 2020, before 2020, just before the lockdown hit, right? Cisco like updated its entire syllabus, and now they have wireless and automation also in them. Previously, CCNA was like separated. You had CCNA routing switching, you had CCNA security, you had CCNA cloud. There were multiple CCNAs, but nowadays there's only one CCNA, which is called as CCNA enterprise, and that is what we are studying here. Okay. Other than that, you'll be also learning about utilization of different types of services in the network. And finally, automation and programmability. How automation programmability, how Python has taken over the automation part, how have like AI and machine learning have been integrated for the network management, and how do they work with the APIs. That is one thing that we will also be learning in this particular course. So this entire course will be broken down into 6 different modules. Here it has been explained in an explanatory way, but the entire syllabus has 6 total modules. The very first module is the network fundamentals, as you can see here. So in this particular module, we will be learning about different devices, how those devices are connected, by what do we connect these devices? Is it via cable? Is it via wireless antennas or what? That also we'll learn. Then we'll understand about the TCP and UDP protocol. Then we'll understand about the network layer where we will like study about IPv4, IPv6. Yes, is this anyone saying something? Guys, I'll request everyone to be on mute until like they're not speaking. So that comprises the first module. The second module, as I told you, it is about switching, where we'll understand about what access port is, what is VLAN, what is spanning tree protocol. Then some wireless LAN concepts are also there, but like I prefer to deliver wireless at the end of the training session. Initially, we'll just go with the wired technology. So this will be skipped and will be taken up at the end of the training session. Along with that, we'll also, hello, sir, my name is Shankar. I ask one question, sir. Can you tell me in Hindi what is, will this? So Shankar, this is a core English batch. इस बैच में ये बैच पूरा इंग्लिश बैच ही है बट डोंट वरी लाइक इफ द कैंडिडेट्स आर कंफर्टेबल विद हिंदी आई कैन स्विच टू हिंदी आल्सो. We'll see to it, but presently as per the guidelines of the registrations, this is an English batch. But don't worry, if everyone like in the batch they are comfortable with Hindi, we can switch to both the languages. And like Shankar, I would suggest you should also try to like get equipped with English too, because that would be also helpful for you. I hope that answers your question, Shankar. You're welcome, bro. Okay. Then we have module 3, which is IP connectivity. IP connectivity is entirely about routing. You understand what routing protocol are, how does the subnet mask work, what is next hop. So hop in networking domain is basically a router only. So what does exactly does the next router means? How does a routing table is created? What are different types of routing? All these things will be covered up in the third module. Fourth module is services, where you'll utilize different services like automatic IP assignment will be done by DHCP. Name to IP to name translation will be done by DNS. So all these protocols will be learned here. Then similarly comes security, and finally there will be automation and programmability. So this is the entire 6 module course. Okay. So along with this particular course, we will be also doing the labs too. For labs, initially for CCNA, you all will have to download a specific tool, which is called as Cisco's Packet Tracer. When you will be moving for the advanced course, let's say presently you are doing CCNA, and after CCNA, everyone, can you see my whiteboard? I'm just writing over the whiteboard. I've just written CCNA. I
Yes,
hope this is visible to
Yeah, we
everyone.
can see, we can see.
Yes.
Yes, sir, it's
Yes.
visible.
Okay. So initially we are doing CCNA, right? After CCNA, you might move for CCNP courses. It could be Encore, it could be NRC, it could be, you can move for Palo Alto, you can move for Cloud AWS, any course you can move on to. So initially, whenever we are doing CCNA, so the labs that we will be doing, for that we'll have to install an offline tool over to our systems. For advanced courses, you will be offered the labs from networking itself. We do have the in-house labs, but they will be offered from the advanced courses. But for the base course CCNA, you'll have to download an offline tool, which is called as Cisco's Packet Tracer. I'll show you how to download it. We don't need to download it on day one. Like after 2 weeks, like this week and the next week. Once these 2 weeks are done, then we'll be jumping on to download this particular tool, and then we'll start performing the labs. I do have an entire bunch collection information, let's say the lab sets that I have. Those are the self-paced labs. So every particular step will be guided to you. You can start performing the labs there once you are done with the topic. So topic wise, we will be keep on doing the labs too. Everyone, please remember, this is not just a theoretical course. Along with theory, we do have to do the labs too. That means theory as well as practical. So it is a parallel course initially for the 2 weeks, first 2 weeks. That means this 1st November week and the 7th November week. For these 2 weeks, we will be doing the core theory, which is completely basic. And it might sound a bit boring, where we'll be discussing about binary conversions, we'll be discussing about subnetting, we'll be doing some mathematical calculations. So that might sound a bit boring, but that is the most important and foundational part. Once that is done, then we'll move for the advanced topics, from where we can start doing the labs from the 3rd week. So is that clear? Packet Tracer is this tool. Let me just show you guys. This is Cisco's Packet Tracer, where we'll be performing the labs and everything. It might take some time to load up. Moving ahead. So meanwhile the tool is loading, I'll just start with the topic explanation, and let's just start with the discussion. We don't want to waste the time, right? Okay, see, this is Packet Tracer. So here you get all the base models of the routers, switches, everything is available. You can simply drag up the devices. You can start doing the configurations here directly. That's how it works. So I'll teach you guys, I'll educate you guys how to exactly do the configurations here, how to run the commands, what exactly are these particular commands, because that is the most intrigue part of this particular course, to understand the CLI configurations, command line interface. So we'll be jumping onto this also, but that is something which will be the climax of the movie, right? So we'll be coming on to it on week 3. Before that, let's start today's session. Everyone, I hope the introduction is fine for everyone. Shall we start with the course directly?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, like you told Cisco packet tracer, no? Like what is the minimum configuration we need for the laptop
At
to
least
have?
4 GB RAM, at least 4 GB RAM, nothing else. And I hope
Okay.
everyone must be having 4G or 8 GB or 16 GBs, right?
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, everyone. So I prefer to start CCNA's course every time by asking one common question. So, and that question is, what do we understand by the term network? See, everyone, I will be focusing corely over the terminologies. Why? Because let's say कि मैं ये कहता हूं कि मुझे हिंदी बहुत अच्छे से आता है. How can I say that I know Hindi well? You cannot say that Akash knows Hindi well until Akash speaks Hindi fluently and correctly grammatically. Similarly, if I'm speaking English, if I say that I'm a proficient English speaker, so for that reason, I should know the English vocab. I should pronounce English vocabs properly. I should like speak English properly. Similarly, if you want to understand network, you should have strong hold over to the networking terminologies. आपको network के terms अच्छे से आने चाहिए, right? And for that purpose, I'll be focusing very precisely over to the terms. You should have at least a page like glossary page where you'll be penning down all the different terminologies. You can create an Excel sheet so that alphabetically it can be automatically rearranged. Create an Excel sheet on your systems. Keep on writing the terms along with their definitions in the next column, so that whenever you need to revise those things, you can simply refer to that Excel sheet. That would be a better way of doing it rather than writing it in the notepad. Okay, I hope everyone gets my point.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Yeah.
So everyone, please assume that I'm an 8-year-old guy, 8-year-old child. Okay. And I came to you and I asked, भैया दीदी मुझे बताओ network क्या होता है, आप लोग पढ़ाई करते हो, right? So in order to explain an 8-year-old toddler like what exactly network is, how will you explain it to him? Please do it. I need any 2 people to answer one by one. What is a network for you in the most easiest language?
Internet can be told one of them. Like we are getting connected.
मैं 8 साल का बच्चा हूँ, हाँ, मुझे उस हिसाब से समझाइए.
2 डब्बे होते हैं. There are 2 boxes.
Yes.
एक वायर होता है जो
हम्म.
कनेक्ट करता है. But
Okay.
right now the wire is अभी दिखता नहीं है.
Okay, devices
Mhm.
which are connected. That is what you are saying, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
So that can be a big device, and the small छोटा वाला अपना मोबाइल हो.
Okay, understood. Perfect. Who was this?
अच्छा.
Jay. Thank you so much, Jay. Any other definition, please?
Actually, network is connected between the devices or share the information or share the knowledge. The two.
Connected devices that share information.
Yes.
Perfect. And this was Rakesh, right?
Ne, Dipti Ranjan.
Dipti Ranjan. Okay. So can I call you Ranjan? Will that be
Yes.
fine? Okay,
Yes, yes.
Ranjan. Thank you so much, Ranjan. Okay, guys. So every one of you, whenever someone will ask you about a network, I guarantee that you will definitely use one term, which is connection. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Along with connection, you will also use one word, which is communication. These two terms combinedly form the definition of a network. One is called as connection, and the other term is communication. So let's start our study by writing down the very first definition of our course. What a network is. A network, from now onwards, you should remember this definition. It is a group of host devices which are connected and able to communicate. So network is basically a group of host device, such host devices which are connected and are able to communicate. Now the first question that comes, what exactly do we mean by a host device? Everyone, a question. Can I call a personal computer a host device?
Yes.
Can I call a mobile cell phone a host device?
Yes, sir.
Can I call a network printer a host device? Answer to this also will be yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I can have some mixed answers. So what do you say? Can I call a server a host device? Application servers, web servers. Can we call them a host device or not?
I think servers should be client, I think.
So isn't client a host device?
It's client. Servers are the
Come on,
client.
you're saying it wrong. That's why we call it as a server, because it is not a client. Client basically utilizes the services that a server provide, right?
Mhm.
And a server itself is also a host device.
Okay.
See, what is the definition of host device? Let's understand that. Host device is anything that can obtain an IP address of its own. A device that can obtain an IP of its own, that is what is called as a host device. And such devices who can have an IP of their own, when they are connected to each other, and if they are able to communicate, that is what we call as a network. So if I connect a PC to another PC, right? Can I call it a host device? Can I call it a network or not?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Yes.
We can call it as a network, right?
Mhm.
Just a second, guys. Let me switch to the speakers. Can anyone say something? I just need to check my speaker.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. So if I've connected one PC to another PC via cable, can I call this a network?
Yes, we can.
Right? And what sort of a network it is?
LAN network.
No, it's not a LAN.
Wired.
It is a wired point-to-point network, right? Because one endpoint is connected to another endpoint. And let's say if I want to connect multiple devices all together, for that purpose, what I can do, I can use a switch. We'll be talking about switch very soon on week 3. So let's say if I want to connect multiple PCs all together, I have more than 2 PCs. So whenever you want to connect more than 2 devices in a network, that is when you use a switch. And this helps you to form up your LAN network. One quick question. What is the definition of a LAN network? What is the thing that we call as local area network? क्या होता है local area network?
Smallest network you have, like a home network is a local area.
Smallest as in what? Smallest as in what?
Like in your home, like in our homes, what is there? It's one of the LAN. like connect.
Small areas.
And Jay, then what will be a wide area network?
Wide area is geographical, like from a cable provider to, or maybe a IP
Isn't
provider.
the local area network also a geographical network? Geographical area separated network?
Yeah, yeah.
See,
I think so.
whether
Bluetooth is the smallest one. Yeah, my bad.
that will be a personal area network.
Yeah.
It's an
PAN.
example. Man. So see,
Okay.
whatever we talk about, whether we talk about PAN, whether we talk about LAN, whether we talk about MAN, whether we talk about WAN, whatever we talk about, they all contain area network. That means basically we geographically define the network's type. The smallest network example would be a personal area network, which goes to a very smaller proximity. A local area network, it can extend up to an office or a building, right? Let's say your college campuses, that they are an example of a local area network. If you're connecting within a city, just like you must have noticed in our India, a few years back, Jio has publicly opened up the Wi-Fi's at different spots in the city. Have you noticed that thing? That is basically a metropolitan area network. And wide area network, the best example for wide area network would be your internet, right? Which is spread out globally throughout the entire globe. So these are the different types of network. Now, I hope everyone remembers this definition: group of host devices which are connected and able to communicate. That is what we call as a network, right? Now, rather than just studying about networking, we'll be learning grammar also. So everyone, my next question is, if network is the group of host devices which are connected all together and they can communicate, what is networking? अगर नेटवर्क होस्ट डिवाइसेस का वो ग्रुप है जो आपस में कनेक्टेड है और कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं, तो नेटवर्किंग क्या हुआ?
With sharing resources or files from one point to another point through
Exactly.
like
जो
internet.
sharing हम कर रहे हैं, right? That sharing of resources, that is what you're talking about as networking, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So from our definition, the group of host devices which are connected and are able to communicate is a network, and a network gets this ability to communicate, and this ability to communicate is what we call as networking. A network's ability to communicate is networking. So when I say the ability to communicate, ultimately I'm pointing out to the next term, which is called as protocols. Because a network gets its ability to communicate with the help of protocols only. Okay, now one quick question. What do we mean by protocol? Everyone, please don't say set of rules. बहुत ही पुराना definition हो गया वो. Give me a creative definition. थोड़ा creative बनिए और एक अच्छी definition बना के दीजिए. What do you understand by protocols? Give it a try. Anyone?
Set of instructions.
Controlling a network with our own commands.
Controlling a network with our own commands.
To
No.
prevent to prevent
That will
data
be-
to
Mhm.
prevent data loss and to identify other devices on the network.
No. So before Jay, the person who was answering, basically you said about configuration. That is not a protocol. And Jay, you talked about optimization. That is not protocol.
Protocol is a set of rule. Through this rule, we can communicate each other. That is called
हाँ,
the
रंजन, मैंने वही तो बोला था, सेट ऑफ रूल्स टर्म को ना यूज करके कुछ और यूज कर सकते हैं क्या उसकी जगह आसान बनाने के लिए?
Guidelines, we can use
हाँ,
guidelines.
that's fine, that's fine. See,
About rules with
And it's like terms and conditions.
standard which makes the communication, or we set the
standards. Yeah, standard is a good word. Okay. Correct. See, from our head to toe, everything is running via a protocol. Whether you take the hospital towards the hospitality sector, everything is working with a protocol. Just like right now, if I'm scribbling over the screen, my brain must have guided some signals towards my hand muscles, due to which my hand muscles are moving over to the screen, whiteboard, and I'm writing something. This is also a protocol. So what is protocol? Protocol are those steps, are the correct sequence of the steps that are needed to be followed in order to perform a task successfully. किसी भी काम को सही तरीके से करने के लिए एक सीक्वेंस में किए गए सही स्टेप्स जो होते हैं उन्हें प्रोटोकॉल कहा जाता है. Similarly, if I talk technically for networking terminology, right? So in networking terminology, what are the protocols? For every user, whatever is the requirement of a user, for that purpose, we do have a protocol. Let's say I want to assign IPs automatically. We do have a protocol called as DHCP. Most of you must have heard about it. DHCP ke through IPs milti hai.
Yes.
We assign automatic. Okay, everyone, I hope you all are comfortable in Hindi also. Is there anyone who don't know Hindi? Please specify it right away.
Yes, sir. Actually, I am also not understand Hindi.
I'm
Okay,
also.
Prithvi. Okay, I'll take it up. I'll take it up. Not even a single bit of Hindi?
A little bit I know.
Little, sir.
Okay.
So little words only. Not conversation. I cannot understand.
Don't worry. So I'll be making this batch dominantly of English, but slightly I'll be using some Hindi terms also. But please don't worry. Like it won't make you deviate from the topics. Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
everyone, just like we have DHCP that assigns automatic IPs to the systems. We have DNS that translates an IP address to a name. Like I don't know what is the IP address of Facebook servers, but what do I use? I always use facebook.com. I don't know the IP address of Instagram server. What I use Instagram.com. So what are these names? These names are the domain names that basically point to a specific IP address. That is the purpose of DNS. If I want to send email, I have a protocol which is called as SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. If I want to transfer the files, I have a protocol FTP, File Transfer Protocol. So in the networking terminologies or in the networking world, we have specific different defined protocols for every particular task. And everyone, as you know about the difference between the term network and networking, now let me make it very clear for you that this course, CCNA, we call this course as CCNA Enterprise. And the subject code for this course is 200301. So whenever you search for the subject code, you will be getting the exact syllabus and exact details of the course that you are studying presently. This CCNA course is not a course of networks. It is a networking course. And that is why once we have seen onto the syllabus, throughout the entire flow of the syllabus, whatever you have seen were different protocols. Can you see? It is a study of entire protocols everywhere. You're studying about different protocols everywhere. Whatever you're studying, other than network, they all are the protocols only. Guys, please mute. Okay. You can see throughout everywhere in the syllabus, everything is about protocols. So whenever we are learning CCNA, ultimately we will be learning about different protocols that run in the network. So I hope everyone is clear with what the entire course is all about. This course we will be learning about only protocols. Clear? Perfect. Now let's move on to the next part. Prithviraj, I need to ask you one thing. So what is your native language?
Actually, my native language is Telugu, sir.
Telugu. Okay.
Telugu.
So how do you say hello in Telugu?
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Okay, understood. So let me take Prithviraj in my example. This is Prithvi. Sorry for my bad drawing. And this is Akash. So let's assume that Akash and Prithvi, they both have different native languages to speak. Prithvi speaks Telugu. Akash speaks Spanish. Now, Prithvi, you only answer this question. will you and I be able to communicate to each other?
No, no, sir.
And what is the solution that we are presently applying on real time in order to communicate?
For this example,
No, you can take this example, or you can take any normal scenario, or you can take even example of us also. How are we
I
communicating right now?
I think we should take as a third person, like a third involvement, as a he knows
Um,
Telugu and Spanish.
I'd like to interrupt. Are we using a third person between our conversation right now? You and me?
No, no, no.
How are we communicating?
Common language.
Okay, okay. What are the similar languages we know that in
Yes,
the language
exactly.
we are connected?
Exactly. That's my point. So everyone, if I talk about human communication, see, you have to relate your entire CCNA study with the real human communication. So presently, Prithvi and I, we didn't knew each other's native languages. You guys don't know what native language I speak, right? I didn't knew what native language Prithvi spoke before until he has answered it, right? So we humans, when we don't know how we communicate or what are our native languages, we have standardized English as our global language, right? Just like similarly, when this session started, I didn't know what languages you all speak. How we communicated, we started with English because that is a common global standard language. Now, how will the communication go? So let's say if Prithvi wants to say hello to Akash. So hello in Telugu is namaskaram. So Prithvi might think in his mind namaskaram, but while uttering it from his mouth, he will translate it into English as hello. Akash, whose native language is Spanish, he will listen hello, but in order to understand hello, he will translate it into Spanish as hola. And that is how the normal human communication works. Like, जिनको भी आपको हिंदी आता है, you all understand what I just said in Hindi. And for the people who don't know Hindi, who don't know English and they have their native language is Hindi, whatever I'm speaking right now, ultimately we'll be translating it in your native language only to understand what I'm speaking. Am I correct? I hope you all get my point.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
exactly. Similarly, in the older times, when there were no networking devices in the environment, there was no router, there was no switch, there was no hub. When no networking device was available in the environment, devices that operate on different operating system. Let's say I have a Windows machine. Let's say I have a Linux machine. So devices being on different operating systems, they also cannot communicate to each other. Same reason. They use different communicative standard. Some might have their traffic generated in ASCII code. Some might have their traffic generated in EBCDIC code. So they cannot communicate to each other. Reason? They have different languages. So what was the solution? Just like we humans implemented English, there was an organization. Here solution was given by humans. But for networks, we have an organization that does so, which is called as ISO, International Standards Organization. What ISO did, ISO upon researching over different multiple models, gave OSI model as a solution to it. So just like we humans use English, networking devices, they use OSI model so that different operating system devices can communicate to each other. Now, if I talk about OSI model, you all know OSI model has 7 different layers. You must have heard of it. Yes, no?
Yes,
Even
yes,
if you
sir.
didn't have heard, we'll be explaining individual layers one by one. So what happens is that, just like in human communication, English says that I don't care what language you speak. Just translate your words or your vocabularies into English terms, and everyone will understand that. Similarly, OSI model says that I don't care in what form you generate your data. Your data must be having some informations that can be rearranged in form of these 7 layered informations. So just arrange your data's 7 layered informations and fill those particular 7 layers information here from your data, and then pass it on to the next device. And the device will easily understand what you are trying to say. Is that clear? That is what is the purpose of OSI model. I hope you all get it.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Now, what are the different layers in OSI model? Can anyone name them?
Yes, sir. Application layer.
Presentation. Yeah.
Okay, give me some time also because I'll be writing it down. Okay. So first is application. Okay. Now I'll request everyone to go sequentially. Now you cannot start from physical or something. Go on sequentially. Come down to after application.
Presentation layer,
Okay.
session layer.
Those who are not aware of this layers, what people are answering, worry not, and please don't get tense that, oh God, I don't know about these layers. Don't worry. Just remember that these are the layers now. You are learning right now. Okay. Now, next.
Transport layer.
Perfect.
Data link layer.
And data.
And what is the last layer?
Physical.
Physical. So these are the 7 different layers of your OSI model. When you draw a OSI model, basically create a box and then you define divide different rows like this. And that is how you draw an OSI model in your notes. So these are the 7 different layers of your OSI model. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of every individual layer? If I talk about application layer, this is from where your study starts, right? So please start writing down things in your notepads. Application layer. Application layer is house for all the user required protocols. What do I mean by user required protocols? Like previously I said DHCP, DNS, FTP, SMTP, whatever you can name of, HTTP, right? All these protocols, they are required by a user to work on. And that is basically the purpose, or this is the place where these protocols stay at, application layer, which gives a user an interaction point. Second is the presentation layer. Presentation layer's core purpose is to make your data presentable for the user, because computers communicate at a different language, which is binary, right? Binary or hexadecimals. We humans communicate at a very different language in form of number systems. If we want to relate, so we will be relating it to the decimal number systems, right? So we cannot understand the binary information, but in order to understand binary information, it has to be presented in a specific format to us. So formatting, encoding, decoding, ultimately entire multimedia resides at the presentation layer. Some might ask that, Akash, what is the protocol that runs here? You said HTTP, DNS, DHCP, they all work here. So what is the protocol for this place? Your JPEG file, your MP4 files, your MKV files, your MP3 files, your .wav files, right? Your PNG files, they all are the format or the particular different versions that basically work at the presentation layer. Encoding, decoding, formatting of the data, right? Encryption, decryption, all these things work at the presentation layer. Next is the session layer. What session layer does? If I opened up here, let's say I accessed, just a second. Let's say I opened up here Instagram. So will it only be me who is accessing the Instagram server right now?
No, more people will.
There will be billions of the users, right? So how does Instagram server knows that, okay, fine, if Akash has accessed the server, then I'll have to respond with the Akash's information only here? How does the servers identify it? The servers tend to create and separate session with the user. An individual session is created between the server and the client. Between the server and the user, sessions are separated, which is called as session segregation. So session segregation is one thing that is performed by the session layer. I know most of you people must be thinking, Akash, it is a technical session. We have paid such a hefty fees for it, and you are skipping these layers in every topic so quickly. Why? So guys, don't worry. The initial 3 layers that I skipped so quickly, these are the places where the experts who work, they're called as application developers, web developers, and the software developers. We network engineers, we start working or we provide our services from the heart of OSI, which is called as the transport layer. हम network engineers का काम यहाँ से शुरू होता है. We start working from here. Although we do serve these particular layers also, but our main work starts from transport layer. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
Akash.
Yes.
That is the reason why, just a second. That is the reason why if you'll see here also in the syllabus, let me just show you the first module. Can you see? Rather than explaining anything of the top layers, it directly started with TCP UDP, which is transport layer protocol. And then network layer came. Can you see? Why the syllabus
Yes.
is like this? Because we need to start understanding from the transport layer itself. So everyone, transport layer. Transport layer, the purpose of this particular layer is to send traffic from one location to another location. It decides how the traffic will flow. So transport layer decides how the traffic will flow from point A to point B. And to do so, now I'll be elaborating every particular layer from here, right? So to do this thing, transport layer has two specific drivers, two specific carrier protocols. Let me draw a truck here. One driver is called as TCP. Other driver is called as UDP. Transport layer has two protocol sets. One is transmission control protocol. Other one is user datagram protocol. These are the two different protocols that work at transport layer to carry your traffic from one location to another. They will decide how your traffic will go. Is that clear?
Yes.
Next, if I want to send a traffic from one location to another, I definitely need the addresses of the location. Let's assume this thing with a house shifting. So let's say if I want to shift my house from Noida to, let's say, Ghaziabad, right? So in order to shift my house luggage, I need to call packers and movers. Yes or no? So TCP and UDP are those packers movers trucks that the packers movers have sent. Now, these packers movers definitely need the house addresses, that from where do I need to pick up the luggage and where do I need to drop the luggage at. For that purpose, they need addresses. So just like we humans use our house address to specify that throughout in the globe, where does a human resides? For that purpose, we use the house addresses. Sector this, lane this, house number this. That is how we define the addresses. Similarly, within internet, where does a network device or a host device resides, for that purpose, network layer defines the logical addressing. With the help of internet protocol, IP, which is again had two variations, version 4 and version 6. Now, fine. One of my truck got the address, so my truck started from point A and then it traveled to point B. But now, what my delivery guy found out was both the guys delivered the traffic fine. We'll see how do they deliver it later on. But let's say they delivered it to the destination by identifying the IP address. But the problem was that once they reached on to that particular network, within a network, there were multiple people, multiple host devices. Just like in a house building, it won't be a single family member who will stay. There will be multiple family members. I'll be having my dad, I'll be having my mom, I'll be having my sister, I'll be having my brother, right? So entire family stays here. So how do we identify individuals in the family?
By their name.
By MAC address.
Name.
You have a MAC address to identify yourself?
It's a
Name.
name.
But your answer is correct, but that is for the network, right? I asked for the humans. So for humans, we basically identify with the names, right? Similarly, data link layer provides the physical addressing. With the help of MAC address, which is unique to us. Just like us humans, my name is Akash Nigam. It is unique to me. We have Rakesh here, we have Jay here, right? You all have your individual names by which you are identified. Similarly, in the network, every host device in order to identify host device uniquely, they will be having their MAC address. But in order to identify the location of the device, they will be having the IP is for identifying the location, and MAC is to identify the device specifically. Is this clear? Then comes the physical layer. So whatever information is transmitted from point A to point B, how will it travel? So that road is provided by the physical layer. The traffic here, it will be in binary formats, binary bits. What are those binary bits? Zeros and ones. Is that clear? So here traffic will flow via your cables. It could be cables. It could be wireless antenna. It could be light signals if it is a fiber cable. Correct? Understood this much? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
So if now anyone asks you what are the working of these 7 layers, can you briefly explain them? Yes or no?
Yes.
Perfect. Now I'll move for the next topic. Although today's session was supposed to be of 2 hours, but I don't want to load up you guys with the number of the informations. I want to have you with the limited information that you can revise and you can connect back tomorrow also, right? So now we'll move for the next final topic of the day. I hope that sounds well, or do you want to exceed the explanations?
Akash, could you please explain the transport layer, like TCP?
Yeah, I'll be coming on to I'm coming on to transport layer corely now.
Okay, sure.
Now we'll be corely understanding transport. That's why I asked this question. So everyone, my question is, do you want to exceed the explanation, or is it fine if I only explain transport layer as of now and then we end the session for today? What do you say?
You can end after the transport layer, Akash.
Okay. Because
So-
tomorrow I'll be again asking the questions from whatever we have discussed today. Our study has already started, right? So let's start understanding this thing now. So far, what we have done is we started by understanding about what a network is. We understood the definition of network. Then I explained you what a host device is. Basically, a device that contains an IP of its own. Then I explained you what is the term networking. It is basically the capability of a network that makes it to communicate. How does a network get those capability to communicate? With the help of protocols. What are the protocols? The basic standards, how we define the rules, right? Protocols could be anyone that you can name off. Then I told you that this entire course is basically a networking course where we'll be studying about different protocols. Then I took an analogy where I was communicating with Prithvi, but due to different native languages, we could not speak and we used English as a solution. Similarly, in the networking domain, OSI model is the same solution just as the English does for the humans. The same thing OSI model does for different operating systems. OSI model has 7 different layers. These are those layers: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, physical. Every layer has its own specific purpose. Top 3 layers are for the developers, but developers get their base from network engineers only. So we network engineers start from transport layer where TCP and UDP resides. Then at network layer, we have IP address for logical addressing. Then for unique addressing, that is physical addressing, we have MAC address. And at physical layer, we have cables, antennas, light transmissions, where the traffic is basically transmitted in form of signals that the destination device receives. Now, let's understand the next thing, which is corely about the transport layer. Everyone, we say transport layer, or we identify transport layer as layer 4. Why layer 4? So we basically number it like this: 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is layer 1, this is layer 2, this is layer 3, this is layer 4. Please do remember the numbers of the layers, because that is how we are going to talk about the layers. Whenever I say what is a layer 2 device, so ultimately I'm talking about which device works at data link layer. If I say what is a layer 3 device, router is a layer 3 device, let's say I said. So I mean to say that router is a device that works at network layer. So L1, L2, L3, that is what we talk as the layers for. So presently I'm talking about layer 4, which is transport layer. The transport layer has 2 protocols. that are called as the carrier protocols here. One is TCP and the other one is UDP. TCP and UDP are called as the carrier protocols, where TCP is a connection oriented protocol. And UDP is a connectionless protocol. Okay, everyone, what do we mean by connection oriented and connectionless?
Wired and wireless.
No. Both wired and wireless operate with TCP as well as UDP. What do we mean by the term connection oriented? Something that initiates a connection before communication. That is connection oriented. And something that doesn't initiate a connection, it directly starts communicating. That is connectionless. Let's assume this. I came to Jay. Okay. Let's say Jay was sitting in a cafe. I simply reached on to Jay and started speaking to him. I'm such a extrovert person. I didn't ask what his name is. I didn't ask what he's doing. Is he busy or not? I directly started speaking to him whatever I wanted to speak. That is one way of doing it, which is connectionless. Next way, I came to Jay. I politely asked him whether he's free or not. Is he available to talk for some time or not? I introduced myself. I asked his name, and then I started communication. That is connection oriented. Is it easier to understand now? What does these two terms means?
Yes.
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 Similarly, TCP and UDP do the same thing. If I talk about TCP before transmitting the information or your data, we're basically talking about traffic here, right? So before transmitting the traffic, TCP establishes a connection with the user. How does it does though that? Let's see that. This is PCA. And I've connected PCA via LAN cable to PCB. If I want to transmit the traffic to PCB, before transmitting traffic at the like the segment level, at the packet level, if I talk, right? PCA will send a SYN flag. So the traffic information of TCP and UDP, they are basically in form of some headers. So in those headers, there will be a flag associated to it. You'll understand very soon what the flags are, but let's just remember these names for now. SYN means synchronize. It is basically a way of TCP to say that, hey, I want to talk. This flag reaches to the destination device. Now, if it is TCP protocol, TCP always works with acknowledgement. Everyone, can anyone tell me what exactly the word acknowledgement means? Prithvi, can you tell me what does it means to say I acknowledge?
Acknowledgement means already gaining the information as well as updating. I'm thinking.
Permission
I
to
think
talk.
it's the confirmation.
Confirmation. That is the correct word for it.
Like response or reply.
Exactly. Response is also a nice word for it.
Permission to talk.
Exactly. Just like, let's say, if I say right now, guys, can you hear me? What will be your answer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
either yes
will
or
be the
no, right?
acknowledgement.
Depending upon your reachability. So
Mhm.
you guys, what you did by saying yes or no is basically an acknowledgement. So TCP is something, TCP is such a protocol that always works with acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is one of the key aspect of TCP being identified as TCP. UDP does not have acknowledgement. TCP has. So as I have sent a SYN flag here, in response to the SYN flag, PCB will reply back with an acknowledgement flag. By replying with an acknowledgement, basically PCB is saying that, okay, fine, let's communicate. And additionally, PCB, see, because PCB also wants to communicate to PCA, that is how basically the communication goes. You cannot communicate one way. It has to be two-way communication, right? So PCB will also additionally say, even I want to communicate. So if PCB also wants to communicate, then PCB had to send the synchronization flag again. So along with acknowledgement, which is a response of SYN, PCB will also send a synchronization flag. So next flag which I taught you is acknowledgement. And everyone, don't worry. This is something which is done automatically. You don't have to bring up synchronization acknowledgement flag. This is done automatically by the protocol itself. And once a synchronization has received, PCA will also revert back with the acknowledgement, saying, okay, let's communicate. And once the synchronization and acknowledgements are exchanged, that is when the connection is established. And now devices can exchange traffic. Traffic exchange can happen now. Now they can communicate. So TCP, in order to communicate, establishes the session. And this connection establishment is acquired with this 3-step process. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. So this is a 3-step process that leads for TCP's connection establishment. And that is why this is called as 3-way handshake. Is that clear? What is 3-way handshake? 3-way handshake is the exchange of synchronization and acknowledgement flags within the TCP headers, due to which TCP establishes a connection. So for connection establishment, TCP uses what? You'll say 3-way handshake.
3-way handshake.
Answer should be
Yes.
3-way handshake. Next thing, let's say the traffic exchange started to happen. Like it kept on going. We are exchanging the traffic. We kept on exchanging the traffic for a specific period. After some time, either of the two devices, let's say if I'm transmitting an information, let's say I'm transmitting 4 MB of information here, and here I'm transmitting 6 MB of information. So after some time, the 4 MB of information will be done, right? That means PCA will be done transmitting the traffic, correct? So once I'm done transmitting the traffic, it is my responsibility to free the communication stream so that others can also access the communication stream. अगर मैं बात कर रहा हूं, तो जैसे मेरी बात खत्म होगी मैं कॉल काट दूंगा. क्यों? हो सकता है आपको दूसरा कॉल आने वाला हो. Just to save up your time and save up your communication stream. Similarly, let's assume in this scenario, just for example, I'm assuming that PCA was the device whose communication ended at the first hand. So now it is responsibility of PCA to send a finish flag. Now we are moving on for the connection termination. Connection establishment was done. I started the traffic exchange. After traffic exchange, I want to terminate the connection. So for that purpose, I send a fin flag. The fin means finish flag. Finish flag, if it is sent, it simply meant that I want to terminate a connection. Now, whenever you receive something, you'll have to reply back with an. In TCP, how do you reply for any particular message? Acknowledgement. I'll reply with an acknowledgement. But why am I not sending any finished message yet? Why? Because I still have 2 MB of information that I need to share. 4 MB of information was done so far, but still I have 2 MB more information that I need to share. That means PCB is still communicating. So after the communication of this 2 MB will be transmitted towards PCA, PCB will also say that, okay, fine, now let's end this connection. I also want to terminate. And to respond to this finish flag, I'll again send an acknowledgement. So here, after the entire exchange of finish flags and getting them acknowledged, that is when your connection is terminated. So in order to terminate the connection, we follow how many step process? 1, 2, 3, 4. So in order to terminate a connection, TCP follows 4-way handshake. Is that clear? Guys, this is just theory. You don't need to understand how does it works because it is an automatic process. You just need to know the terms here and what flags are involved into it. So the only question that can rise up from this explanation in terms of your interviews would be, if TCP is a connection-oriented protocol, then what process does it uses for establishment of connection and what process does it uses for termination of connection? And your answers would be, for connection establishment, TCP uses three-way handshake, and for connection termination, it uses
four-way.
what? Four-way handshake. Is
Four
that
way.
clear? And what is the involvement in the three-way handshake? Three-way handshake is the involvement of exchange of synchronization and acknowledgement flag. And four-way handshake is of finish and acknowledgement flag.
Acknowledgement.
Some additional information which is not relevant to CCNA, but in advanced learnings you'll be like using these informations. Other than these three flags, there's some more flags. We have a push flag, PSH. So push flag is to push in any important or immediate information through the communication stream. Let's say I'm right now presently I'm on a video call. So rather than my video being received while the video call is going, my voice should be delivered to you at a higher priority. So voice information will be pushed into the communication stream. Video will be sent, but parallelly voice will be pushed. That is the reason why you must have noticed while the video calls that video might get lagged, but the audio keeps on going. Have you noticed that thing? Because voice has the higher priority. Is that clear? And this is something that we define by using quality of service. We will be learning about quality of service in very brief, like a single discussion of 5 or 10 minutes will be done in this course. Other than push flag, we have urgent flag. Urgent flag basically works like an ambulance. Just like in an ongoing traffic, if an ambulance comes, entire traffic is halted just for the ambulance to pass on. So similarly, if in your communication stream, if there is anything or any information that you need to forward or you need to send at the first hand, other than the rest of the informations, urgent flag will be used for that case with TCP. And then we have a reset flag. Reset flag is basically used to reset a communication, assuming that you have connected to a wrong device. It is not a legitimate device through which you are communicating. So to reset the communication, use the reset flag. These are the three additional flags, and these are the total 6 different flags that you might encounter in a TCP header. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is the purpose of TCP and UDP? So everyone, TCP protocol. TCP is a protocol that is often used for file sharing, file downloading. Let me give you an example. How many of you are millennial people? Like people born around 90s, 2000s? Is there anyone from that age group?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, Akash.
Okay. Even if the people are from more younger age group, I hope everyone must have heard about torrent. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes,
But
yes.
torrent, yes.
So for my young friends who are not aware of torrent, can anyone please explain in very short what exactly torrent was?
It's an illegal site where we can download.
Come on, don't say illegal. It is a pirated site.
Yeah, pirated. Yeah, pirated. It's
It's a
illegal,
house
right?
of entire pirated informations. So like whenever I want to download a movie, I want to download a crack of any particular software, I want to download a patch, I want to download a game. Generally, we youngsters were using it in our time to download video games and movies, right? So assume one scenario. I'm using torrent and I was downloading an 80 GB of file from torrent. I started to download. My download kept on going. My internet connection was completely running fine until the 99% of the download. As soon as I reached on to the 99% of the download, my internet connection went down for 5 minutes, let's say. After 5 minutes, my internet connection again came back up. What do you think? Will the download start exactly from 99% or will the download start from 0% again?
99.
It's 99%. It will start again.
It always starts with 99, right?
Mhm.
That means it gives you a reliability while working. TCP is also called as a reliable protocol. And UDP, it is called as an unreliable protocol. So this reliability that you got, because if it is again started from 0%, I don't know about you guys, but I will be very frustrated, right? And this reliability that we get in terms of file sharing or file downloading, that is basically with the help of TCP protocol. You can relate the new people or the youngsters, guys who don't know about torrent. For you guys, you can always relate to WhatsApp or document transfers. If you're sending up a video, right? So let's say if you have a lower connectivity, slower connectivity, and your video has been sent half, it will again always start from that particular spot only. It never restarts from the very scratch until you have deleted the video from your own file manager or your file system. Can you relate to it? That is what is called as TCP working. So TCP is used for file sharing and file downloading. Whereas if I talk about UDP, video streaming, live streamings, voice over IP, all these places we use TCP protocol. This entire things are carried forward by TCP protocol. Even this meeting also, this fine Zoom meeting, at the backend somewhere UDP protocol is running here also. What does UDP does? UDP doesn't care about the delivery. Let me explain it to you in a much easier way now. Jay, let's assume that Jay is working for a shift for 9 to 5. Okay, Jay?
Mhm.
And at 5:30, Jay has a date. So he need to leave his office by 5 anyhow. But right at 4:45, Jay's manager came to him and asked Jay that, Jay, there is a 400 GB of file that I need you to upload onto the servers, then only please leave the office. Now, whether Jay can make out on time for his date or not, that completely depends upon his bandwidth of the office, right? Yes or no?
Mhm.
If
Yes,
Jay
yeah.
has a 2 Mbps of bandwidth, I don't think he can make on time for the date.
Mhm.
But Jay will be very sure that, okay, fine, even if it is 2 Mbps speed, Jay knows that I can upload this entire information to the server, but it will take time. Yes or no?
Mhm.
Yes.
That means TCP gives you a sure shot delivery. You are sure that your deliverance of the traffic will be done, but you're not sure what time it will take. You'll have to adjust the timing, right? You'll have to sacrifice your time there, because time is completely an aspect of the bandwidth. Similarly, let's assume another scenario. Let's say, okay, how many of you watch live streams on YouTube or anywhere else?
That's good.
Right? So let's assume that here I have a streamer who is sitting in front of a camera, and this web camera is constantly recording and posting everything on YouTube. So this stream kept on going constantly, and at a point of time, it went down. His internet connection went down for a minute. This streamer's internet connection went down for a minute. He was not using any broadcaster software, so he was not aware whether his internet connection went down or not. His camera kept on recording for this particular 1 minute also. But what do you guys think? If the connection is down, will the other viewers be able to see what he was speaking throughout this 1 minute?
No.
No.
Even if the connection comes back again, can they see what he spoke for the last 1 minute?
No.
No.
No. This is where UDP works. UDP works with faster delivery, but it doesn't guarantee sure shot delivery. UDP, no sure shot delivery. TCP, sure shot delivery. But TCP, you'll have to sacrifice time. In UDP, it is faster. You don't have to sacrifice time for that. Understood?
Yeah.
Some more, let me give you one more real-time relevant example for it. Today we started session at what time?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Presently, it is 10:30 here, right? So, like, we are we are discussing for past 1.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Is it possible for any one of you to repeat exactly in the same flow, in the same sequence, in the same manner, everything that has started speaking from 9 a.m. till now?
No.
No way, sir.
No. But all of you are understanding everything that has been spoken for this 1.5 hours. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That is the purpose of UDP. So for
Okay.
every such type of communication, UDP is used. UDP is used where we want the faster transmission of the information rather than complete deliverance of the information. But TCP is used for complete deliverance of the information, even if the transmission is slower. But don't worry, I am saying it is slower, but it is not that much slower. It is slower in comparison to UDP. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
And everyone, whenever we transmit the information from transport layer, whether it is TCP or it is UDP, they all use something which is called as port numbers. Port numbers are just like your doorways from a room. If I'm sitting in a room and I want to go out from this room, I might use a doorway. Similarly, every particular protocol has its own separate doorway to exit the transport layer or to enter the transport layer. There are different doorways for every protocol. Every protocol follows its own specific doorway. That is what we call as port number. And port number is a 16-bit entity. Let me use an eraser. Everyone, whenever I say 16-bit, whenever in the computers learning, in any computing learning, whenever you see any particular value or any particular information defined in bits, basically it gives you a range of values. I'll show you how. What do we mean by bits? Binary bits? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Bit is binary bit, right? How many
Yeah.
binary bits do you have?
0 and 1.
0 and 1. That means a possible two values, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
16-bit simply means 16 possible combination of these two possible values. That is what is meant by 16-bit. And 2 raised to the power 16 is 65,536. You can calculate it always. Sorry, let me just use a calculator. Scientific one. 2 raised to the power 16. 65536. This means that there are, if I say that it is a port number is of 16-bit, port number is a 16-bit value, I'm saying that there are total 65,536 ports. That is what I say by saying 16-bit. Is that clear?
Yeah.
In your computers learning, whenever you see any bit representation, basically you are defining a range of the values, always. So port numbers are also these many. And these port numbers are categorized into 3 different types. Well-known ports, reserved ports, and ephemeral ports. Ephemeral is a more technical term. Much easier term for this is random port numbers. What is the range? Well-known ports starts from 0 and end up at 1023. Sorry, 1024, my bad. Reserved ports, they start from 1025 and they end up at 49151. Ephemeral ports, they start from 49152 and they end up at 65535. So total 65,536 ports. How? the counting starts from 0. In computers language, in computers terminology, 0 is also identified as a value. But we humans, when we use the number systems, we ignore 0 because we negate 0 until a higher value is written to the left of it. If it is a 0, we don't identify it as a value, but any value is written to the left of it, we identify it as a value. But in computers, even this is a value. Why? Because 0 is also considered as a value here in computers. So whenever you define a range, let's say I said 65,536 ports. So basically, I'm saying that the port number starts from 0 to 65,535. Is that clear?
Yeah, clear.
I hope I'm not running too fast, everyone. So well-known ports. What are the well-known ports? Any particular protocol that you can name, they all come under the well-known port numbers. Whenever you want to learn about it, simply reach on to Google, type a keyword, list of TCP and UDP ports. You'll get a site of Wikipedia, a link from Wikipedia site. Always refer to this site for me. Once I click on this particular link, you can see entire range of the port numbers. Can you see well-known ports? It starts from 0. And if I'll scroll down until guys, mute please. Someone is having a background noise. Till 1023. Okay, yeah. So I was right. It is 1023. It's been so many days now, so I forgot the range. Yeah. So from 0 to 1023, we have well-known ports. Then we have registered ports. So registered ports are basically registered by some specific organizations for their in-house protocols, which are not working throughout in the globe. They will work within a specific organization because they have generated it specifically for their organization. For such protocols, we have registered ports, which start from 1024 and they end up at 49152. Let me just use a faster scroll. Yeah. So after 49152, we have the dynamic ports or the ephemeral ports. So these are the random port numbers that you can use for customized services or temporary purpose. Let's say like everyone, I hope you all are aware that HTTP is a protocol that uses the port number 80. Let's say my traffic has been loaded up so much on port number 80 that my port is very busy. So I can even use port mirroring over to any of the random port numbers. For that purpose, these ports are used. It is day 1, so I won't be coming on to much more elongated explanation of these particular things. But don't worry, we will be learning in depth about these things later on once we are in the more inner part of the course. So for now, this was the explanation that I wanted to give to you guys about the transport layer. Is this clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes.
Perfect. One more thing before finishing up this session, before wrapping it up, one more thing. Just like in our humans, we have defined different units for every object. If I want to specify distance, I use kilometers, right? If I want to specify quantity of a liquid, I use liters. If I want to specify weight, I use pound. Similarly, in networks, for identifying the traffic, we have different units for it. आप network में data नहीं कहते हो, you say traffic.
Yeah.
So once your traffic starts and stays at these top 3 layers, the unit that you give, unit has been given a specific term here, which is called as PDU. PDU is identified as protocol data unit. Protocol data unit. So every layer has its specific PDU. The PDU for the top 3 layers for your traffic is data. Once this data is handed over to the transport layer's PDU is segment. So you say TCP segment or UDP segment. Then once this segment comes down to the line to network layer, the PDU for network layer is packet. So you say IPv4 packet or IPv6 packet. Then once this traffic comes down the line to data link layer, the PDU here is frame. And the traffic that follows at the data link layer is on the Ethernet networks. So it is basically an Ethernet frame. And finally, it comes to the physical layer with bits. That's why I said I should write here cables rather than binary bits, because this is the PDU, right? So bit is the PDU for physical layer, the unit for your traffic. So you will never say it is data. Data is the PDU for the top 3 layers, where it is information is created. Once it is transported to the transport layer, it becomes segment, TCP segment, UDP segments. In network layer, it is packet, IPv4 packet, IPv6 packet. Data link layer, Ethernet frame. That is how we identify the units of your traffic. Is that clear? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, clear.
Yes, Akash.
Okay. So this sums up our day 1 of the explanation. If there is any question, you guys please feel free to discuss. Please feel free to ask. We still have 5 or 10 more minutes, so the space is open for questions. Please go ahead. I'm just taking down my screen, okay? Guys, please don't be formal. Don't need to raise your hands. Start speaking. Don't worry.
I just wanted to ask, like,
Yes.
is every weekend will the classes be for 2 hours, or is it going to be a lengthy another?
Jay, so the batches will be for 2 hours, but every day it will be depending upon the topic and the caliber of everyone, right? So I'll take care of everyone here. I know there are people who have higher caliber, they can sit for 4, 3, 5 hours also, but there will be some people who are very new to it, right? Like when I started my studies, I was a very dumb student. Okay, I cannot sit more than half an hour. And my trainer, he used to deliver it completely for 2 hours, because I also joined a weekend batch. So I can understand how it feels when you can't understand it and the batch keeps on going. So for the initial 2 weeks, I will be like interacting with each one of you. I'll see what is the common caliber level where we can like end up the session at. And once that is done, so within 2 hours, let's say 1.5 hour or 2 hour, the session will end between these two timings, most usually.
Maximum is 2 hours, right?
Yes, yes, maximum is 2 hours.
Okay, perfect,
Exactly.
perfect. And also, I wanted to ask in regards to the do we get notes and the recordings
Yes,
and everything?
exactly. So recording will be uploaded over to the portal. Once the batch is locked, presently the batch is completely open, because there could be newer enrollments today also. There could be newer enrollments tomorrow also. So for the first week, you won't be getting anything other than the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group is also created after day 2. So once the batch is closed, we'll be creating a WhatsApp group where you all will be connected with me on WhatsApp. So every update, every particular information document to be shared, it will be shared in the WhatsApp group itself. Along with that, there is a specific link for your portal where you can access the recordings too. But that also will be given once the batch is logged.
Okay, once the classes are done, will we have sessions for cracking the exam?
Alright, definitely. I'm a master of it. Don't worry, I'll do it. I'll help you with that.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था।
ये शंकर बोलिए।
हाँ सर, मैं से बोल रहा हूँ सर, अपना ये आपने जो अभी इंग्लिश में पूरा जो जिसका पूरा बैच जो आपने पूरा सिलेबस अभी बताया है, तो
हाँ
सर
जी।
बीच में अपन जैसे मान लो आई एम कंफर्टेबल इन इंग्लिश बट सर इन एवरेज,
हाँ, मैं
तो
करूंगा
सर
ना पक्का।
कुछ
मैं
ऐसे
करूंगा
होती है,
बिल्कुल।
कुछ मीनिंग्स ऐसे होती है कि उनको ट्रांसलेट करने में दिमाग माइंड बैठ जाता है, तो जब तक आप आगे निकल चुके होते
तो एक काम करते
सर
हैं, सुनो। एक काम करते हैं, जैसे आज तो आपने आखिरी में बोला, आप लोगों को पूरी छूट है, आप बीच में मुझे टोक सकते हो, ठीक है? बीच में जहां नहीं समझ में आया तुरंत बोलो, सर नहीं समझ में आया, रुक जाओ, वापस बताओ। Feel free to interrupt in between, because see, you guys have paid for this course. Make the most out of this course. इस कोर्स से जितना तुम
सर
सीख
पूरा
सकते
बैच फुल जब मैंने नोट
हाँ
इंग्लिश में कर रहा हूँ सर, आपने बीच में बहुत कम हिंदी वर्ड यूज किए, ठीक है?
हाँ
बट सर आप बीच में यूज करो, कोई इशू नहीं है, बट सर हिंदी में भी एक बार उसके साथ जो इंग्लिश में बोलते हो उसको भी कर दिया
बिल्कुल
करो,
बिल्कुल
ताकि
करेंगे
हमको
करेंगे करेंगे।
समझने में इजी रहे और भी।
ठीक है बिल्कुल करेंगे वो चीज।
तो ये सर या तो सर फिर या तो मैं हिंदी बैच ज्वाइन करूँ जिसमें पूरा, या तो फिर उस हिसाब से रहे, क्योंकि ऐसे तो बीच में, क्योंकि सर बीच बीच
एक
में आपको
काम कर
टोकूंगा
सकते
तो
हैं ना,
बीच में आप भी
सी,
इंटरप्ट होगे, इसलिए मैं
अरे
बोल
नहीं बाबा, मैं डिस्टर्ब नहीं हूंगा, बट अगर आपको कोर हिंदी बैच भी चाहिए ना, तो डू यू हैव द सेल्स पर्सन नंबर? आपका किससे इंटरेक्शन हुआ था?
मेरी वंश सर से हुआ था।
वंश से हुआ था। एक बार वंश को कॉल करके उससे डिस्कस कर सकते हो कि यार ये तो पूरी इंग्लिश बैच है, राइट? हालांकि सर ने तो बोला है कि वो हिंदी यूज करेंगे, बट ये बैच इंग्लिश है तो डेफिनेटली इंग्लिश ज्यादा यूज की जाएगी। तो क्या मुझे कोई हिंदी बैच मिल सकता है? एंड डेफिनेटली आपको मिल जाएगा। अगर आप चाहो तो आप हिंदी बैच में मूव कर सकते हो।
बोलना सर मैं इसका भी रेगुलर कर लूंगा, बट सर आपसे ये रिक्वेस्ट, हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप थोड़ा बीच में एक बार हिंदी में भी थोड़ा, क्योंकि कुछ ऐसे वर्ड्स
अरे
होते हैं
डन डन।
कि
हाँ, डोंट वरी। और मैं ऐसा नहीं कि ट्रेनिंग के बाद गायब हो जाऊंगा। आई कीप ऑन कनेक्टिंग विद द पीपल आफ्टर ट्रेनिंग ऑल्सो, सो डोंट वरी, टेंशन नहीं है उस चीज का। ठीक है?
ओके सर, ओके सर।
Sir,
Any
is
other
the
question?
same meeting link we can join tomorrow also? Because I didn't find the meeting link at portal and my enrollments.
Yes, Tarun. So you have to join at the same time tomorrow also. Every day the batch will start by 9 and will start
Yes, sir.
class
I'm
at
asking
9:10.
for meeting link.
Meeting link.
Yeah.
So how have you got the link today?
Today I find it on mail, sir.
Yeah, so tomorrow also you'll have to join from the same link. So the link will be same. Meeting link is same for everyday batch.
Okay, sure.
Presently it is open. After enrollments, it will be logged for specific users who have
Okay,
already
sure.
enrolled and paid the fees and all. So that is how it goes. But this is the same thing that you'll have to join every week.
Thank you.
Sir, and the notes part, like what you have written, that will you share in the portal?
What you said, what I have written dirty.
No. Actually,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
only it will be understood for me.
Yeah, so these can be forwarded. Like I can create an entire book of it, and a PDF can be shared with you guys. So once the WhatsApp group is created, I'll be sharing these PDFs in the WhatsApp group too. Along with that, along with this handwritten notes, you'll also be given some ebooks that I would prefer you to follow, and everyone. Presently you are free to use anything, any resource, but the day I say stop using any other reference, from that day onwards you have to obediently stop using any other resource for studies. Like generally what happens, let's say I explained a topic, right? Next day you'll go on YouTube, you'll find a video to understand it in an easier way for you. Don't do that thing. अगर आप वो करते हो, अगर आप उस तरीके से करते हो, that will cause a issue. Everyone mute, please. Mute. If you do that thing, then you won't be taking a hold of the class. आप class के hold से थोड़ा बाहर निकल जाओगे. So never do that thing. Presently you're free to refer anything, but the day I will say, from that day you have to follow what I guide you guys. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions? No questions so far?
Hello, sir.
Okay, everyone. So we are good to leave for today. Thank you so much for joining this batch today. I hope to see you all tomorrow also, and then we'll move ahead with the transport layer. There is few more things that we will be discussing about transport layer tomorrow over TCP UDP, and then tomorrow's the next topic would be network layer. That is the important and the most important topic of the session. Okay, everyone. So thank you so much for joining today. We'll catch up with you all tomorrow. Have a nice day.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.